Electrical staples are indeed exempt from being installed precisely according to their UL listing, specifically within the context of Article 110.3 of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, as it was defined in the 1999 edition. To clarify what this exemption entails, let's consider the implications for specific types of staples and their corresponding cable applications. Take, for example, the SN40 staple. According to its listing, the SN40 staple is designed and approved for securing a single non-metallic sheath cable, commonly referred to as NMC, with a size range spanning from 14 American wire gauge or AWG2 conductor to 10 AWG3 conductor. What the exemption in Article 110.3 allows is a degree of flexibility in how the staple is utilized in the field, without strictly adhering to the precise parameters of its UL listing. Similarly, consider the S950 staple. This particular staple is listed for use with either one or two NMC cables. Again, the exemption provided by Article 110.3 of the NEC 1999 provides some leeway in how the staple is applied, permitting deviations from the strictures of its listing, provided that the overall installation remains safe and compliant with other relevant code requirements. It is important to understand that while this exemption exists, it does not grant carte blanche to disregard the fundamental principles of safe electrical installation practices. The exemption should not be interpreted as permission to use staples in a manner that compromises the mechanical integrity of the cable or the security of the installation. Instead, it acknowledges that in certain situations, minor deviations from the listing may be necessary or beneficial without introducing undue risk. When applying this exemption, it's crucial to exercise sound engineering judgment and consider the specific conditions of the installation. Factors such as the type of building materials, the presence of environmental factors like moisture or vibration, and the overall layout of the wiring system should all be taken into account. Furthermore, it's essential to ensure that the staples used are of appropriate quality and are installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions to the extent that those instructions do not conflict with the provisions of the NEC. In addition to the exemption provided by Article 110.3, other sections of the NEC may also have relevance to the installation of electrical staples. For instance, Article 300 addresses general wiring methods and materials, and it contains requirements related to the support and securing of cables. Article 312 pertains to pull and junction boxes, conduit bodies, and fittings, and it specifies how cables should be supported and secured when entering or exiting these enclosures. Article 314 covers outlet, device, pull, and junction boxes, conduit bodies, fittings, and handhole enclosures, and it contains similar requirements regarding cable support and securing. Moreover, it's important to be aware of any local amendments or interpretations of the NEC that may be in effect in the jurisdiction where the installation is taking place. Local authorities often have the power to modify or supplement the NEC to address specific regional concerns or conditions. Therefore, it's always advisable to consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction (OJ) to ensure full compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Now let's delve deeper into the specifics of Article 110.3 of the NEC 1999 and how it relates to the exemption for electrical staples. Article 110.3 is titled Examination, Identification, Installation, and Use of Equipment. It lays out the general requirements for ensuring that electrical equipment is properly evaluated, labeled, installed, and used in accordance with its listing and labeling. The key provision that provides the basis for the exemption is found in Section 110.3, Paragraph B, which states that listed or labeled equipment shall be installed and used in accordance with any instructions included in the listing or labeling. However, it also allows for deviations from those instructions under certain circumstances, provided that the overall installation remains safe and compliant with other requirements of the NEC. The rationale behind this exemption is that strict adherence to every detail of a product's listing or labeling may not always be practical or necessary in the field. In some cases, minor modifications or deviations may be required to accommodate site-specific conditions or to integrate the equipment seamlessly into the overall electrical system. As long as these deviations do not compromise the safety or performance of the installation, they are generally permitted under the NEC. To illustrate this point further, let's consider a scenario where an SN40 staple is being used to secure a 12 AWG2 conductor NMC cable. According to its listing, the SN40 staple is approved for use with cables ranging from 14 AWG2 conductor to 10 AWG3 conductor. In this case, the 12 AWG2 conductor cable falls within the specified size range, so the use of the SM40 staple would generally be considered acceptable, even if the specific cable size is not explicitly mentioned in the listing. However, it's important to note that the exemption does not apply if the cable size falls outside the range specified in the listing. For example, if an SM40 staple were used to secure an 8 AWG3 conductor NMC cable, that would be a violation of the NEC, as the staple is not designed or approved for use with cables of this size. Similarly, the exemption does not permit the use of staples in a manner that could damage the cable or compromise its insulation. For instance, if a staple were driven too tightly, it could crush the cable and create a potential for electrical shock or fire. Likewise, if a staple were installed in an area where it could be exposed to excessive moisture or corrosion, it could deteriorate over time and lose its ability to securely hold the cable. In such cases, alternative methods of support and securing, such as cable ties or straps, may be more appropriate. It's also important to consider the spacing between staples when securing cables. The NEC generally requires that cables be supported and secured at intervals not exceeding 4.5 feet and within 12 inches of boxes, cabinets, and fittings. However, the specific spacing requirements may vary depending on the type of cable and the application. For example, some types of cables may require closer spacing to prevent sagging or movement. When determining the appropriate spacing for staples, it's important to consult the manufacturer's instructions and to consider the specific conditions of the installation. In addition to the technical aspects of staple installation, it's also important to consider the legal and regulatory implications. As mentioned earlier, local authorities often have the power to modify or supplement the NEC to address specific regional concerns or conditions. In some jurisdictions, there may be specific requirements regarding the type of staples that can be used, the spacing between staples, or the methods of installation. It's essential to be aware of these local requirements and to comply with them fully. Furthermore, it's important to maintain accurate records of all electrical work performed, including the type and location of staples used. These records can be valuable in the event of future inspections or maintenance. They can also help to demonstrate compliance with applicable codes and regulations. Now, let's address some common misconceptions about the exemption for electrical staples. One common misconception is that the exemption applies to all types of electrical equipment, not just staples. This is not the case. The exemption is specifically related to the installation of listed or labeled equipment, and it only applies to deviations from the instructions included in the listing or labeling. It does not apply to situations where equipment is used in a manner that is not consistent with its intended purpose or design. Another common misconception is that the exemption allows for the use of substandard or counterfeit staples. This is also not the case. The exemption only applies to staples that are listed or labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or UL. The use of substandard or counterfeit staples is a violation of the NEC and can create a significant safety hazard. A further misconception is that the exemption eliminates the need for qualified electrical workers. This is definitely not the case. Electrical work should always be performed by qualified individuals who have the necessary training and experience to do the job safely and competently. The exemption does not relieve electrical workers of their responsibility to follow all applicable codes and regulations and to exercise sound engineering judgment. To summarize, the exemption for electrical staples in Article 110.3 of the NEC 1999 provides a degree of flexibility in how these staples are installed, without strictly adhering to the precise parameters of their UL listing. However, this exemption should not be interpreted as permission to disregard the fundamental principles of safe electrical installation practices. It's crucial to exercise sound engineering judgment, consider the specific conditions of the installation, and comply with all applicable codes and regulations. In the context of Salt Lake City, Utah, where the location is specified, it is crucial to emphasize the importance of adhering to any local amendments or interpretations of the NEC that may be in effect. The local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction should be consulted to ensure full compliance with all applicable codes and regulations specific to the region. Remember that the exemption does not override other requirements in the NEC. For example, cable spacing and support requirements outlined in Article 300 must still be followed. Additionally, staples must still be installed in a manner that does not damage the cable insulation or compromise its integrity. Here's a recap of key points to consider when applying the exemption for electrical staples. Firstly, understand the scope of the exemption. It applies only to deviations from the installation instructions included in the UL listing or labeling of the staple. Secondly, consider the specific conditions of the installation. Factors such as cable type, building materials, and environmental conditions should all be taken into account. Thirdly, exercise sound engineering judgment. Ensure that any deviations from the listing do not compromise the safety or performance of the installation. Fourthly, comply with all applicable codes and regulations, including any local amendments or interpretations of the NEC. Fifthly, maintain accurate records of all electrical work performed. This can be helpful for future inspections and maintenance. For practical application, let's consider some real-world scenarios. Firstly, imagine you are installing NMC cable in a residential dwelling. The NEC requires that the cable be supported and secured at intervals not exceeding 4.5 feet and within 12 inches of boxes and fittings. You are using SN40 staples, which are listed for one cable from 14 AWG2 conductor to 10 AWG3 conductor. In one area, you need to run two 14 AWG2 conductor cables along the same joist. According to the listing, the SN40 staple is only intended for one cable. However, based on the exemption in Article 110.3, you may be able to use the SN40 staple to secure both cables, provided that you ensure the staples are properly sized and installed and that the installation does not compromise the safety or integrity of the cables. You might choose to use a slightly larger staple or to install the staples closer together to provide additional support. Secondly, suppose you are installing an NMC cable in a commercial building. The NEC requires that the cable be protected from physical damage where it is exposed. In one area, the cable runs along a concrete wall and is subject to potential impact from forklifts or other equipment. You are using S950 staples, which are listed for either one or two NMC cables. However, due to the potential for physical damage, you decide to install a metal conduit to protect the cable. In this case, the exemption in Article 110.3 does not apply, as you are not deviating from the listing of the staple. Instead, you are using a completely different method of protection. However, you must still ensure that the conduit is properly installed and grounded, and that the cable is supported and secured within the conduit. Thirdly, consider you are performing an electrical upgrade in an older building. The existing wiring is installed using knob and tube wiring, which is an outdated and potentially unsafe wiring method. You are replacing the knob and tube wiring with new NMC cable and installing new electrical boxes and devices. You are using SN40 staples to secure the new NMC cable to the existing framing members. However, you discover that some of the existing framing members are deteriorated or damaged. In this case, you may need to use alternative methods of support and securing, such as cable ties or straps, to ensure that the cables are properly supported. The exemption in Article 110.3 does not allow you to compromise the structural integrity of the building. Let's also consider some best practices for installing electrical staples. Firstly, always use staples that are listed or labeled by a recognized testing laboratory. This ensures that the staples meet minimum safety and performance standards. Secondly, choose the correct size and type of staple for the cable being installed. The staple should be large enough to accommodate the cable without damaging it, but not so large that it allows the cable to move around excessively. Thirdly, install the staples in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. This will ensure that the staples are properly installed and that they provide adequate support. Fourthly, avoid overdriving the staples. Overdriving can damage the cable installation and create a potential for electrical shock or fire. Fifthly, inspect the staples periodically to ensure that they are still in good condition. Replace any staples that are damaged or deteriorated. Also, be aware of new technology and updated practices. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, with new products and techniques being developed all the time. It is important to stay up to date on the latest developments in the field. One way to do this is to attend continuing education courses or seminars. Another way is to read trade publications and journals. You can also join professional organizations such as the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers IE or the International Association of Electrical Inspectors IE. Staying informed will help you to make informed decisions about the materials and methods you use in your work. This is especially critical when dealing with exemptions and exceptions in the NEC. Remember, the goal is always to provide a safe and reliable electrical installation. Applying the NEC is a complex task that requires a thorough understanding of the code and its intent. When in doubt, always consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer. They can provide valuable guidance and ensure that your installations meet all applicable requirements.